Yo, so guys, welcome back to another video. We're back with another urinating tree reaction. I'm back with the football reactions. The Super Bowl's on the 7th, so it's nearly just under a week till the Super Bowl is actually here, and I wanted to get this reaction out as soon as possible. I know this is 5 days old, and I'm also going to be doing this one as soon as possible as well. I have sort of said it in previous videos. I'm moving now. And it's going to take a long time for me because I'm not going to be able to move this setup until I get my Wi-Fi sorted there, and I have no idea when that's going to be because my Wi-Fi provider aren't replying to me, and I just can't really. Well, I can't go there. I can't move my stuff there until I've actually got stuff sorted because I won't be able to do videos then. So I'm having to go back and forth from here to my place that I'm moving to, and it's frustrating. But I mean, it is what it is. That's how moving is. Maybe I should have prepared myself better, especially with the coronavirus lockdowns, etc. Maybe I could have done that myself, but it is what it is, right? But I'm back with the tree reactions, and I'm excited for this one for sure because with the Super Bowl coming so soon, and I'm excited for the matchup. Patrick Mahomes, obviously it's not Patrick Mahomes versus the Chiefs versus the Buccaneers, but Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady. I am so excited for that, man, and I assume this is going to be going through the whole playoffs and then sort of predicting who's going to win. And we all know of Tree's predictions. His predictions are probably going to be the team who actually lose, but it is what it is, right? But genuinely, I'm so excited for it. Like, to see, like, you sort of got this, I say young star, but you got the younger player, like, who's sort of filling the mantle of who Tom Brady is. But Tom Brady at 43, bro, he's still doing his thing, man. I'm sorry, but how are you doing that? How are you doing that at 43 in any sport is ridiculous. But in American football, it's just another level. Like, you're getting hit hard. You're constantly having to take physical pressure and pain and whatever. And he's doing it at 43. I don't get it. I don't know how long he's going to play for, but it's just ridiculous. Sadly, if you're a Buccaneers fan or Tampa Bay fan, I'm hoping you lose this game purely because of the owners. I hate the owners. Maybe I should be supporting them because I hate the owners and I feel their pain, but I feel like their owners help the Buccaneers more than they help the soccer team I support. If you know, you know. But yeah, fuck the Glazers, that's all I'm going to say. But genuinely, I am excited to see this video and to see what happens in the Super Bowl, because it's either like going to be Tom Brady asserting his dominance and showing he is the GOAT, or it's going to be Patrick Mahomes showing him, I'm the new guy on the block, man. You better be watching out for me because I'm coming for your titles that you've won. And he's what, 25, 26, and he's got the possibility of having two back-to-back Super Bowl wins. I mean, it's a thing to be proud of, to say the least. But let's get into this. Let's check this out and let's see the full preview of the season that went by.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. Another postseason has flown by and the Super Bowl is beginning to come into view. Before we get there, though, we have some teams to eulogize as they came up short. Shall we? So much for having luck this go-around. It's not due to a lack of effort. The Colts themselves played a good game on both sides of the ball. The problem was that they failed to execute when it was truly needed.
The Bills are good, though, to be fair. The Bills are a very good team.
Not just good. Several key plays would be their undoing.
They were obviously the favourites.
A failed fourth down.
The Bills were the favourites for this game, right? I swear I remember they were the big favourites because this was the first one that came, the first game of the playoffs. And I remember watching this and sort of seeing the preview and seeing what people were saying under my Twitter and stuff, and on my Twitter feed, and they seemed like the strong favourites. Some people were backing the Bills to actually win the Super Bowl, which is crazy. I never would have expected them, but
conversion where Michael Pittman couldn't come down with the ball, and a patented doink from that nerd named Blankenship. It sucks because they weren't the wrong calls for the given situations, they just failed on them. Indy would give them a fight, but it just wasn't enough, even for that terrible call that kept them in the game. Buffalo clamped down and won their first playoff game in 25 years. It's a
oh my god, 25 years. And then suddenly they were like one of the favourites. What? That was the first playoff win in 25. That is nasty. God damn.
Loss. And it might be his last. Go join Moon and Fouts as the greats who never made
it
to a Super Bowl.
He retired, yeah.
The Horde has been vanquished. The endless reign of terror on countless villages across the NFL landscape is over. And you can thank it all to the Ravens. They saw the game plan the Packers put on and executed it to perfection. If you stop Derrick Henry, you stop this offense. And they did. The Titans were limited because Tannehill can't carry a team by himself. Lamar was iffy in the passing game, but if you can't stop his feet, you're going to be in trouble. It's not that they were bad, but Baltimore just had excellent scheming. I can't say the same for whatever Mike Vrabel was thinking, though. In the fourth quarter, down by 4, it's a 4th and 2 at the Ravens' 40. They punt. Vrabel, what the fuck are you doing? I thought you were supposed to be an aggressive, analytically inclined coach, like a conservative, and allow the Ravens to eat more clock off. That decision might have cost you the season. By the way, you remember celebrating on their logo after you beat them in overtime this year? How about a reverse guard?
Have that one, you cunts. This was incredible.
One of the most useless
Oh, he better be raging in this as well. I hope so, man. I hope so.
football I have ever seen out of the Steelers. It started from the first snap. Literally.
It's actually
Cleveland
crazy
came into a team that was overconfident and talking shit. Players going off about how...
How can you start so bad? I'm still thinking about it. Like, how does this even happen? Surely when you go into a game of this magnitude, you sort of just stay fully focused and you're like, right, if anything, just don't fumble the ball within the first 5 seconds. How? Like, how can you start like that?
It's the Browns, and they got
it's incredible, though.
Smacked. Throughout that first quarter, I watched as an entire franchise died on the field. There were a lot of questions and doubters about this team, and they were all proven right. People will be delusional because Ben was able to throw 10-yard passes against a backup secondary playing prevent defense in garbage time, but this team has been flat out exposed. They have learned nothing. Great, Randy Fichtner's not going to be here next season because his contract conveniently expired. He should have been fired 2 years ago. So why the fuck is Ben going to trot his cooked ass out for another year? He should be cut, but that's not how the Steelers work. And that's why Cleveland gets their first great moment since their new franchise was born. Good work. You brought a much-needed humbling to an entire city. They subjected kids to this team. That's borderline abuse. Fuck's sake, even adults don't want to watch the Bears. What with how bland they are offensively without Mooney or Roquan Smith? It's pretty much what I've been saying about them for weeks. They were mediocrity defined, buoyed up by playing weak teams. Trubisky was replacement level, the running game could do nothing, and the defense tried but couldn't stop the flood from rushing in eventually. Imagine being a child seeing this on Nickelodeon. You either give up on football because this team is bad, or worse,
the Bears didn't stand a chance, though.
With the McCaskies, no one wins.
I'm sorry.
But don't worry, Jimmy
it's arguable they didn't even deserve to be there, obviously. In terms of, like, standings, they did. But they were just the most average team to be in
made
it,
a great catch in garbage time, so everyone's getting extended for 5 years. How the fuck are you impressed with Nagy or Pace after this year? At least I can give them points for putting up a good effort.
I forgot about Washington.
They were expected to be right.
They actually, from what I remember, this was a relatively, not tight one, but the end scoreline wasn't actually as far apart as you would imagine. Especially when it's against a team who, looking into the future, are now in the Super Bowl. And Washington were like, they had the worst record by a mile, and they still got into the playoffs somehow. But they didn't stand. They didn't stand a chance.
Especially since Alex Smith was
in hindsight,
what could have been his final breath as a pro. It's not really worth noting since Taylor Heineke had a damn good game, all things considered. Definitely made himself some money in the offseason. Too bad they couldn't get it done, but the Bucs remained one step ahead throughout. They were just better, and it showed in the final result. Throughout the football land, Giants fans are salty as it could have been them getting their asses kicked at home. Tough shit, you fuckers. This is Washington's loss to feel proud of. Go somewhere else. That was one of the most gutless fucking performances ever witnessed in public. Chef Russ, the culinary artiste of the Seahawks, all he did was serve up undercooked dog shit to his patrons throughout the game. What the hell happened to this offense? Weren't they supposed to be, good? I get the Rams are excellent in spurts, but what the fuck was that? They were without Aaron Donald for most of the second half. Their offense didn't even have a healthy quarterback for most of the fucking game. Yet they revealed themselves to be total frauds. It's what I was fearing they were, but I
love the term fraud so much. When you call someone a fraud, it's so satisfying in sports, man.
Sure as shit.
I just love the term. Just call it, you're a fraud, bro. You're a fucking fraud.
Look like it here. How do you live with yourselves after this? It's shameful to watch even as an outsider. Although that doesn't solve the real problem. I think it's Carroll. Yet very few 12s will admit it in the inner circles. This team is raw and taking the piss. Do me a favor. Give me your jacket and fuck off. Hopefully from the edge of a pier.
Absolutely useless.
Wasted opportunities. A group that will flash sections of brilliance only to crumble when they have the chance to do something great. Buffalo was looking quite beatable, but the Ravens, like the past few years, could not capitalize.
It's crazy how the Bills hadn't won in 25 years, a playoff game in 25 years, and now back-to-back games they win within like the space of a week. if they did win, was it again? It was against the Chiefs, wasn't it? Again, it's a big one, big ask to say because the Chiefs are an insane team. But to say they did, I mean, they could have been in a Super Bowl after not winning a game for 25 years. Suddenly, 1 year they have an insane season and they're in the Super Bowl. It's just crazy how things can turn. But that is football for you at the end of the day. Things can happen. It's just crazy. You get these crazy storylines, these crazy sort of things that just. I guess it is what gets you into the sport and makes you love it, right? Like, you support a team that's been struggling for years. Suddenly you have a just insane season and know you're the team to beat, kind of thing. It is kind of crazy to me how
Justin
it works.
Tucker has 2 doinks in a game. It was a sheer failure to launch. And most of that issue lies on the offense itself. The running game was going up the Matterhorn during an avalanche. I give you some sympathy, but Lamar Jackson took a chance to tie up the game and proceeded to give up a pick 6. Shortly after, he is pulled out of the game and doesn't return. Sadly, concussions
like
aren't
last
going to
time.
lead him out of the bathroom
Toilet.
and into victory. The
That's it.
problem with the Ravens is that you will always want more out of them. But can they really give it to you? Lamar may have reached his peak, and the Greg Roman offense has severe flaws. It's an offseason where Baltimore really needs to soul search. What do they truly want to be? That's some tough luck the Browns have. I will give them props, they played as well as I had expected them to. And they had the best season they've had since they returned to the league. The issue here isn't anything they did. It isn't the Chiefs themselves, but what wasn't. This fumble arguably cost Cleveland the game. That wonderful rule which states it's a touchback if it bounces into the end zone reared its head. Plus, they get the bonus of an uncalled helmet-to-helmet hit, so add in ref ball to the mix. Despite them closing in on the
Yeah,
Chiefs,
the Chiefs were too
potentially
good.
going
They
in
actually
for the
closed
game,
it up,
Mahomes
didn't
out
they?
with a
But-
concussion, they just can't get it done.
Oh yeah, I forgot Mahomes got concussed, didn't he? Like, early in the game. He got a concussion. He is back. Yeah, I know he's back, but like, how did that affect him? Like, how bad actually was it? Because I just remember seeing it, and I remember seeing what actually happened, and it was just like, will he be back? Luckily, he was. But again, imagine Mahomes missing the game, man. That would have been a huge miss. How long do concussion injuries usually last as well? I guess it depends on how serious they are. But how long do they usually last
In
for?
the end, Kansas
And how
City
long a player's
revs up
out
the clutch
for?
and the Browns go home. It's painful, but it's softened by their first playoff win in 25 years. They'll be back here again. I wouldn't worry about it too hard.
The
Let's
Browns
be
are a
real,
team
you were
coming, man.
fortunate to even get to this point. The injuries the Rams dealt with in key positions,
The Packers.
it would have been impossible to reach the Super Bowl, but I'll give them extra credit for trying. Going into Lambeau was a near impossible task, and it proved to be too much in the end. Green Bay merely toyed with their prey. A visibly hobbled Aaron
they're
Donald.
just too good.
They may get a nick of flesh
well.
here and there, and they do their damnedest to keep it close, but it merely delays the inevitable. The gods strike them down with the deep ball. It's a better year than expected, but there are still questions. What the hell do you do a quarterback? There is much to be desired from Goff, but he's locked into a massive contract. Jim Everett 2.0 will not get you a Super Bowl without an outstanding supporting cast. And I don't know if they can do it with the money they've spent on him. That's why I'm not paid the big bucks to decide these things. Failure. This is all the Saints have produced over the past 10 years. Whenever they've needed to perform, whenever faced with a challenge that needs to be overcome, this team does nothing but squander them. You knew this was your last chance before the fires of Cap Hell come for you. Yet what do? Wither and die in their own stadium. Drew Brees had a performance rivaling Marino against Jacksonville in 2000. He was overcooked before he hit the oven. How are you supposed to feel when a man who's carried a
Drew
team
Brees. I
for
remember him mentioning him throughout the whole season, just saying he's just not
years
good
is one of
enough.
the main reasons why they lost? Sad? Remorseful? Bitter? Against a Bucs team they crushed both times they met in the regular season? No, the only feeling the Saints should be experiencing is fear. Fear for the inevitable nuking that this roster is going to go through in the offseason. They're already almost $100 million over the cap for next season.
Oh,
and the
shit.
time has come to
Some
pay
big
up.
cuts are going to have to
The
happen.
final
then.
price is a golden window slammed shut before a pile of waste. And the only thing they can blame for it are themselves. You're fucked. Have a nice life in hell. Everywhere throughout the country, many innocent tables are
Who's
breathing a
this?
sigh of relief.
Chiefs.
The great
This
genocide
is a
against
really
their kind has
really
been
good
ceased.
matchup.
Buffalo has faded back to
Again, the Buffalo were a lot of people's favorites for the Super Bowl. So this was obviously, I always just sort of assumed the Chiefs would be the team to beat because of last year, and they were pretty much the best team in the regular season this year. But I don't know, a lot of people did fancy the Bills. So I mean, it was definitely a close matchup to say the least.
misery and resignation. They were nowhere near the level of the Chiefs. It's ironic how they managed to play a complete and efficient game against a team begging for hope. There was no chance. Kansas City was simply the better team in all facets. A tough loss is their fate. You can't be too hard on them since it was the greatest season they've had in almost 30 years.
Tyreek Hill is disgraceful.
They're still the eternal bridesmaids. This game shows that they need more, but where do they get it from? Josh Allen? Possibly. Just take it as a learning experience. You did well this season. Kind of proud of the Bills in a way. You had opportunities. You had
Rodgers versus Brady, man. Again, I've said this already. I can't believe Brady's doing this at 43. It's actually just fucked. It's fucked. It's ridiculous. It's mental. He's in a Super Bowl at 43. How? Bro, it's mental.
Fucking game long. Yet when all things align perfectly, when everything is given to a team to head back to a Super Bowl, Green Bay goes on a rampage of pants shitting and self-immolating. Every goddamn chance they had to make a statement, they failed miserably. Of course, it's against the one team everyone wants you to beat, so why not give up a Hail Mary in the second quarter? The fuck is proper scheming? I don't give a shit. Let Kevin King get burned all goddamn game. God damn it, Green Bay. Tampa Bay is giving you every single shot to win in the second half. 3 straight picks for Brady. What does the offense do in return? Fucking nothing. 6 points off of 3 turnovers. Pathetic. The only thing worse is them trying to score in the red zone. Really, LaFleur? You're gonna kick a field goal in the 4th quarter down by 8? Kindly fuck off. Yes, they did get fucked by a questionable call in the end, but you know what would have helped? Not pissing away the other chances you had to win. Fuck you, Packers. The NFC North will take your excess salt to clear the roads.
You had an opportunity, and you blew it.
In distance, you will see entire cities being extracted of record amounts of salt from this postseason. From Pittsburgh to Green Bay, it is a bonanza of sodium chloride. Now show me who's coming from the AFC. The defending champion will have a chance to repeat as champion. There was a part of me that didn't think they'd make it here. It wasn't due to doubting their talent, but they were lacking consistency throughout the season. There were far too many times where they would stall out. The Chiefs would tease with their incredible game-breaking abilities on occasion, but it wasn't often. However, it was more than enough to win the games they needed to win. Perhaps this game against Buffalo proved that they have the mettle to play a full 60-minute matchup. Their ability to score almost at will is something rivaling the greatest show on turf. Patrick Mahomes still is reality-defying as ever, leading the way. The only difference this time is that the Patrick price was steep. It's an insane deal, but let's just say it's deserved. The way he's transformed this offense with his feet in the deep ball? Like it or not, it's the future of the NFL. Mahomes is going to be here for a while. And perhaps with time, the Chiefs will become as hated as a certain team from New England. Kansas City are in good hands. His chorus is relatively similar to last season, barring a few upgrades at running back. His new toys to work with include Clyde Edwards-Helaire, their first-round pick this season, adding a new dynamic to a team with this rushing prowess. Behind him, nothing crazy, just Le'Veon Bell. He's not what he was a few years ago, but he's still a good safety valve for the passing game. Plus, he's free from the Jets. That's always good. His receiving core roughly the same as last year. This is a good thing for them. Tyreek Hill with game-breaking elusiveness, McCole Hardman and his blazing speed, Travis Kelce boasting his strong pass-catching abilities down the middle of the field. They can stretch and scheme in any way they can. Mahomes isn't 100% due to a concussion. They can get around that. They can play aggressively, they can be methodical and conservative, they're fluid and adaptable to situations. And that is what makes them deadly. Losing Eric Fisher to injury will be tough, but if there's any team that can overcome this, it's the Chiefs. Team defense is relatively the same as last year, despite losing a few players to free agency. The front four still boasts Chris Jones and Frank Clark, terrorizing opposing tackles with speed and power. Anthony Hitchens and Damian Wilson patrolling the second level. Daniel Sorensen and the Honey Badger roving the safety positions. They have bent in spots, but still have the ability to change games. Their convincing win over Buffalo proved it. The Chiefs unfortunately don't have the same feel-good story that they had last year. Instead of a 50-year Super Bowl drought, it's a mere 1. Although it's felt like 50. Once again, elite talent and scheming lead the way. Their offensive might had them as favorites to repeat before the year. So far,
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they are my favourites. Again, I feel like I probably did say these were the favourites for me because of just the previous season and because of players like Hill and Mahomes. But they do seem to have that sort of superstar status covered by really good players around them and young sort of prospect players who are looking like who are hungry, who want more. But again, they're now the team to beat, so maybe the pressure's going to be different. And when you're against someone like, well, someone with a team with Tom Brady, whether he's playing good or not, you're just going to have that sort of feeling of confidence because he's been there and he's done it. But man, I'm excited. But they are my favourites. The Chiefs are my favourites by a big margin, I'd say as well. But I mean, as I've said, even though I've said I'm not wanting the Tampa Bay to win, I'm not wanting Tampa Bay to win because of. I mean, a lot of people, I guess, they don't want him to win because of Tom Brady because he's just been winning for far too long now. But for me, it's just to do with the Glazers, man. Fuck the. I'm not even gonna say it. But yeah, I'm interested though. I really, really am interested in seeing what he says about the Bucks for sure.
Out that way again. Although an old friend of theirs from years past will have something to say about that. I did say at the beginning of the postseason that this team would be boom or bust. Guess which path they decided to choose.
Boom.
Football fans wish that the remnants of the evil empire died off in the explosion of the Death Star, but we weren't thorough enough. They have survived and regrouped. They have recruited the disenfranchised souls of Tampa Bay to reinforce their ranks. And with this newfound army, they have brought about another siege against all things respectable. The only victors here are the NFL due to the ratings boon that all of their haters will bestow upon them on Super
It's
Sunday.
going to be a
Tom
highly anticipated
fucking Brady,
game.
why won't you die? I saw you as a shell of yourself last year
just
in New
said it straight
England.
up.
Going to Tampa Bay was supposed to be the sad swan song of a legendary career. Alas, this year has merely added more to his legend.
Why would
In
you
fact,
die?
it shed more than a few myths about him being a system QB. It took a bit, but he settled into the high-flying Arians offense, despite taking more pressure than he's accustomed to. In his quest, he's conquered the dream matchups of years past. He defeated Breeze. He defeated Rodgers. He defeated something resembling a team. He defeated narratives. With this Super Bowl, he's not fighting for football immortality, but something more. To be put in the same echelon as the likes of Jordan, Gretzky, and Ruth, the greatest sports players of all time. All I can do is be bitter at this 43-year-old and his black magic bringing him back to his pride.
He's got his
Despise
juju,
it, yet
mate.
I
He's got
respect
the
it at the
juju.
same time. It's complicated with him.
Witchcraft.
He is
bro.
complemented by a chorus of the elite and those seeking redemption. Ronald Jones no longer in the doghouse by his side. Leonard Fournette freed from Jacksonville in reserve. There's also a Shady McCoy in there lounging in a press box.
Oh!
Who'd probably rather be on the field. At wide receiver, weapons galore. Mike Evans, the main star of the show, once again proving that he should be in the running for best receiver in the game. Chris Godwin emerging as a legitimate number 2 beside him. The diminutive white wide receiver role is filled nicely by Scotty Miller. And an old friend has also returned to the game. Rob Gronkowski.
Gronk, yeah.
He's not the same as he was, but he's still a viable pass-catching option for an offense that needed more spark. There's also another wideout they signed during the year as well. We don't talk about him. The scars are still too fresh. What isn't, though, is the team defense. Under Todd Bowles, they've become a feisty, well-rounded unit. Their pass rushers are some of the best in the game. Shaq Barrett has become a game-changer for them on this front. And with Jason Pierre-Paul still performing on the other side, it's hell for offensive lines.
Oh, shit.
This also doesn't mention that they have Ndamukong Suh eating up space in the middle. The second level doesn't get easier. Longtime Buccaneer Levante David and newfound sensation Devin White control this zone with tenacity. In the secondary, the group is very young but emerging by the day. Carlton Davis, ignoring his performance against Tyreek Hill, has been strong. Sean Murphy bunting at his coming out party against Green Bay. Antoine Winfield Jr. and Jordan Whitehead in the safety positions. It's a team that needed a legitimate quarterback to go the extra mile. And so far, they've gotten it. We all thought Tom Brady would be done by now. He unfortunately is not. Tampa Bay is the benefactor of this scenario. They once had the longest playoff drought in the NFC. But now, a chance to win their first Super Bowl in almost 20 years. The rest of the league hates it. What I also hate? The fact that either Le'Veon Bell or Antonio Brown will walk away from this as a champion. The shit they pulled while they were with the
Antonio
Steelers has
Brown.
left me salty as hell. And while at least you can make the argument that Bell just wanted money, AB burned bridges in possibly 3 different cities. I hate everything. Life is pain. While the rest of us fear the second coming of Warriors versus Cavs, who will be lording over all of us this offseason? The normal reaction would be to say that Kansas City's offense is so powerful that the Buccaneers' young secondary cannot overcome it. The same thing occurred in the regular season despite Tampa's efforts late in the game. However, if there's one thing I've learned over the past year, it's to always assume the worst-case scenario, because it will somehow turn out worse than you fear. Therefore, with that logic, Tom Brady will age back 10 years and lead the Bucs to
Wow.
a second ring.
Wow.
Then Thanos snap out of the NFL into ash and assume his lordship over the remains. It Might as well be so at this point. We're fucked.
His Bucks team loved watching when I was
You
young.
have to remember this all your life.
That's tipped, and that's a fifth pick of the game by Dwight Smith. And again, Dwight Smith is going to take it down the sideline.
I love these
into
throwback
the end
clips so
zone.
much.
Wow.
But again, shout out Tree Man. It's interesting. It really, really is. These videos are so good. I thought you were dead, Brady. The dark side of the Force is a pathway. Is a pathway to many abilities, some considered to be unnatural. He defeats Breeze. He defeats Rodgers. He defeated something resembling a team. This dude is funny as fuck. The NFC Championship game, the yearly tradition where my Packers determine who plays in the Super Bowl. it's always the Packers, isn't it? Fuck's sake. Seahawks fans, let's go cook. Ross burns down the kitchen. Brady has found the fountain of youth that Frank Gore has been hiding. It's no longer the Empire, it is the First Order now. What the fuck do you mean? Trubisky won the MVP, signed him on a 7-year, $420 million deal. Two former cast members of the original Days of Our Steelers will play against each other in the Super Bowl. Funny how that happens. So the Super Bowl you promised you would stay away. Brady, I lied. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this? Who are you predicting to win? Again, I feel like the Chiefs are the strong favourites, but you can never bet against Tom Brady, man. You can't. Even at 43, he just manages to just do, again, black magic, just some juju, bro. He's different, but it's crazy. But I am excited for it. And again, just let me know your thoughts on it. And yeah, I'm going to be coming back with the Haters Guide in the 2020 NFL season debriefing. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, like, subscribe.